Hey guys, it's Janet here, just a few seconds early. I want to take a second and I'm going to disappear from screen for just 2 seconds because I'm trying to also get it up on my iPad so that I can watch for comments a little easier. So, you know what? Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can see myself on the big screen. See if it's going to work the way I'm kind of hoping it'll work. Let's see. Is it there? That was a photo to tease you guys. But maybe it's not going to work the way that I want it to, and we're going to have to practice a little more. Well, darn. Okay, it's going to be a little tougher for me to do some of the things that I want to do, but it's not working. Hey, Linda. Hey, Amanda. How are you guys doing? Sorry I got the wide side or the back side there for just a few seconds, but I was trying to see if I could also pull the video up on my on my iPad at the same time. And obviously, I need a little bit more practice with technology. Hey, Karen. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Karen. Now, lots of this. Karens, Carries, Laura's, and Lori's seem to be the ones of the day right now. So, hi, Hillary. How are you doing? Hey, Nate. Oh, my gosh. It's so funny to see my son-in-law. Hey. Hi, Debbie. Hey, guys. What we're going to be talking about today is Wink of Stella. Obviously, there's a huge winter storm happening here on the East Coast called Stella. I had to tease my friend Stella McKay about it because she is a force to be reckoned with in a very good way. So it was practically an honor to have a storm named after her. I've been outside twice with the dog so far. The snow is letting up a little bit, but it's probably 14 or plus inches, not quite as much as they thought. But right now the wind is kind of moving things around and just making it a little hard to navigate, but it is really, really pretty. Of course, I won't say that tomorrow when it all starts melting, and it looks like we'll be snow-free by the weekend, only to have snow the following weekend. So we'll see what's going on. But let's go ahead and let's jump right in. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showcasing all kinds of wonderful things with Wink of Stella. If you're not familiar with this product is available in dazzling diamonds as well as gold. What it does is it adds a beautiful shimmer to your projects and things like that. It does look like this when it arrives, and it does require a little bit of work when you first get it. First thing that you need to do is you just need to take it out of the cardboard packaging that it's in to release it from and into this packaging here. What we're going to do next is we'll go ahead and we'll take it out of that packaging. Lots and lots of packaging here, keeping somebody in business. And you're going to see that it has a black ring on it just like this. This is the very first thing that we need to do to prep our Wink of Stella in order to be able to use this. We need to take it apart, take that black ring off, and we're going to go ahead and we'll put it right back together. And what will happen is it will pierce the chamber that has the good stuff in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab the two sides where it says push, and you're just going to push until this chamber fills. And it will be the only time technically that you need to do that, except for the fun technique that I'm going to be showing you. So what I'm going to be doing, hey Lisa, hey Karen, again, lots of L's and K's, how fun. Hey Jackie, I'm going to turn the camera around and you're going to be seeing my hands. What that means, unfortunately, is because I couldn't get it to come up on my iPad, I'm not going to see any of the questions that you're asking or be able to do any of those fun shout outs that Facebook Live is known for. So, hey, Donna. So what's going to happen is at the end of the video, once I save it, then I'll go back through and I'll review all of your questions and I'll answer them for you. I do sometimes tend to talk kind of fast. That's the German in me, and that's just my personality. So, again, if I'm not answering your questions, don't panic. It's because I can't see them, because when I was looking at doing this video, what I found is it's much better if you can look over my shoulder to watch these techniques as opposed to staring at my face. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around. It's going to be like being on an amusement park ride here for just a second. And you're going to see my work surface. So let's go back to that Wink of Stella pen here again for just a second. We've got it all primed now by squeezing it through just like that. So the very first project that we're going to start with, we're going to be using the Beautiful You stamp set, which is an absolutely amazing stamp set and extremely popular. And we're going to use our Sweet Lady from it. And I'm going to be working just basically with our archival, doesn't matter which size block here, they both fit, our archival black ink. For the techniques that I'm doing all day, archival works just fine, as does embossing. And we're going to go ahead, and I've got this die cut with the largest circle from the Layering Circles. How people live without layering circles or layering stitch framelits is totally beyond me. So here again, we've stamped her just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and remember I told you normally only need to prime it once and it's in that pretty tip for painting. But we're going to squeeze it a little bit harder, and we're actually going to squeeze some out on the block. You could also squeeze it onto your paper, and 11 by 17 is a must in every crafting room as far as I'm concerned. That's just an amazing way to keep all your surfaces clean. But by putting it on paper, it slowly is absorbed into your paper and you need to use more. On the clear block, it's not absorbed in and it remains just totally available for you to be using it as a paint palette. And then you'll just simply give your blocks a good cleaning. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting her dress to be more shimmery than you would normally get. I want it just to have a nice thick coat. So I'm literally just painting with that Wink of Stella, and I'm painting it on real thick to give it a real nice dark look. And what I can also do is I can go ahead as it dries and I can do some outlining, make some of the edges just a little darker. So I can go ahead and accentuate those edges just like that. To show you the finished project and what that looks like, this is the finished project. And you can see where she's a little darker on one side to give some shading. And then the lines, the creases on her dress, we went ahead and touched up with gold. So we just have basically gold and silver. But what we've done is we've squeezed a little extra onto our block and we've used it for painting, which is a lot of fun. Earlier I teased you with this sweet little lamb, and I'm going to bring it in here for just a second while we're painting. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of swirl it around. And it's not a 100% swirly look, but as it dries, some will be a little thicker than others, trying to make him look a little woolly. So that's just one of the things that we're doing to him. And again, I really wanted to up the shimmer on him. I wanted him to look a whole lot more shiny. And we'll let that dry for a second. And it doesn't take long to dry it all. If any of you have ever worked with your Wink of Stella, you know that to be the case. And in some areas, I'm laying it on a little bit thicker than others. Again, just to give that look of wool. Sparkly wool, but wool. I'm trying to match the gold and the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. So again, just using it to paint with, guys. And I know some of you are going, oh, but you'll use it up. But you know what, guys? It's okay to use stuff up. You know why? Because I know where you can get some more of it. And if you're worried about the cost of it, of course, you can always join Stampin' Up! And make sure that you're buying your supplies at 20 to 25% off. But using it up's a good thing. Too many times we hoard stuff and we find ourselves saying, oh my gosh, I never use this or I never use that. So go ahead and squeeze that stuff out and start layering it on thick. So that's one of your possibilities and your options there. So then the other thing that I want to show you is let's go ahead and let's link up our beautiful lady. We've actually named her Ella, my friends and I, and we call her Ella. So let's just ink up Ella. We just thought she needed a name. And so now I've got Ella happening here. Now, Stampin' Up! Has these amazing watercolor pencils that were just introduced, and some of you may have seen me showcase this technique last week when I was with Stampin' Up! So what I'm going to do, and now that I've got my ink flowing, is I'm going to take my tip right to that watercolor pencil, and I'm just going to start coloring with it. And what it's going to do is it's just going to give me that shimmer directly, but in color. So I'm going to be able to watercolor in shimmer by taking my pencil right to it. And I got a little bit left over here. So, and then to clean this, once it's got a whole lot of stuff on it, you're just going to rub it. The other thing that I could do is I could use that as a palette, picking some of the color up again if I'm wanting to darken some of those edges. So watercoloring right to the tip is a great, really fun thing to do with it. And of course you can give her a hat and all kinds of fun stuff. And it works with all of your colors on your tips. And so again, just remember, just take your, make sure you've got it primed, make sure you've got a good bit in here. And then you're going to go right to your tip, and let's just go ahead and we'll give her a, actually, I don't want that color. Let's clean it off. Let's see, I'm just swishing it to clean it. That's all you need to do. I want it to be, oh, I still grabbed the wrong color. Sorry about that, guys. I want the Calypso Coral is what I want. There we go. Just going to give her a Calypso Coral hat. So there you've got that. So again, watercoloring direct to your paper with Dazzling Diamonds as your brush, as opposed to, not Dazzling Diamonds, excuse me, Wink of Stella, as opposed to your blender pen or your aqua painter, using this as your paintbrush, and you're going to get amazing, beautiful effects with that. And then just to show you, here is the finished card. And then just for fun, I have some of our Inside the Lines paper. I'm using quite a bit of the celebration items because we just have just about 2.5, 3 weeks left to use it. So we want to make sure that we're enticing you like crazy to go ahead and invest in it so that you're not sad come March 31st. But in this case, again, let's pick up our pretty pink. I want to tie into that pink. And because that's glimmer paper, I want the flowers on my project to shimmer the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, of course, if I wanted to, I could also just simply do some watercoloring, do some coloring, and then go over top, but it's not quite the same look. It works if you want to be a little exacting, but for me, just going right to the tip works great. So now I can come in here and I'm going to add these sweet, beautiful flowers. So that's two different things that I wanted to show you with your project. So now let's take a look at something else really fun. And let's put the cap back on this for right now. Oh, I said we were going to dress him up. And the way that we were going to dress him up was with the extra pieces that I had. We're going to take his bow, and you'll see him when he's all finished, but that's how we were going to do it. We're going to glimmer up his bow tie. We're going to hand cut it, put it on here. We're going to glimmer up his hat, and we'll put it on there. So I'll post him when he's all finished on the page here. So now let's move on and talk about the other thing that I wanted to show you. That's a whole lot of fun. And what we're going to be working with is we're going to be working with Stampin' Up! Spritzers. This fun little holder here, and if I tell you where I got it from, you have to promise that you will not judge me. But when I went looking for a holder for our spritzers, what I went looking for was test tube shot holders, okay? I tried just plain old test tube holders and it didn't come up, so I tried test tube shot holders. And there's a really fun company called Tooters, Tooters, and they make these acrylic holders in several different sizes. I have this smaller size, and then I have this really big, large one, because I like having a spritzer for each one of our Stampin' Up! Colors. So Tooters is it, and what you're searching for on that site is test tube shot holders, okay? If you've ever been to a bar, you might know what I'm talking about. So what I've done is I did some experimenting. I had an idea and I wanted to know how it would go. So in the very first test tube, I went ahead and I added 91% alcohol. I went ahead and took the spritzer all apart. I took gold Wink of Stella. Where's she at? Where's gold Stella? And took it all apart and I squeezed the Stella right down into the tube. I put it together and I just started spritzing with it to see if I could get that glimmer mist kind of look to it. And what I found was the alcohol and the Stella is not a good combination. It's pretty, it gives you a nice little stain and it dries very quickly, but it didn't preserve the glimmer that I was looking for. So we ruled out alcohol and the mist. The next one that I tried, and let me make sure I get the right one in my hand, is I tried water in place of alcohol, doing the same thing, putting a little bit of water in, and how much Wink of Stella you squeeze down into it is going to be up to you. Of course, you know it's a lot easier to start light and go dark, so put a tiny little bit in, spritz it on that, you can't live without 11 by 17 paper just to see, and then try it on the paper. So... and what I found is water also was not really giving me the look that I wanted at all. So then the last thing that I did is I did straight Wink of Stella. And I finally got what I was looking for. If you take either the plain Wink of Stella, the Dazzling Diamonds Wink of Stella, or the gold, and squeeze a little bit down into the bottom, you want enough to cover that opening. Okay. This straw has a little opening on it. That's what allows it to be pumped up in. So you need to make sure that you put enough in there. And again, don't worry about using up your Stella, guys. It gives you an excuse to go shopping, okay? So you want to make sure you have enough to cover that opening so it can be drawn up into the spritzer. And then remember that these spritzers are extremely powerful, and I'm holding it up right now, but you want to make sure that you have something behind, and again, that's where that 11 by 17 paper comes in handy. I can lift it up and form a backdrop while I'm spritzing. And now what I was able to get, and it's going to be a little hard to see here, but I'll show you some samples, is I was able to get that fine glitter effect, that glimmer mist effect that I was looking for. So that made me really, really happy. So let me show you one of the samples. So on this sample here, I went ahead and I spritzed the designer series paper behind. Now, if you've ever worked with our spritzers, you know that they're extremely powerful, and sometimes you get a beautiful fine mist, and sometimes you get a little blob. What I'm here to tell you is go with the blobs. It's okay, unless you are totally dead set against it. But again, you're going to have finer, and then you're going to have some little droplets. But before I move on and show you some more options with that spritzer, I want to do two more things to this really pretty card here using our gold glimmer. So let me put it all back together and get it all going here. And make sure that I have some glimmer, I may not have any left to work with. There we go. And all I want to do here is I want to come in, and I'm just using my pen to trace the letters of that cheer. This is one of our reverse word stamps that was limited edition, released February 21st. And so I just want to tie into the gold dots that I put, the little gold shimmer on the background, and the gold foil. So I'm just kind of tracing my words, filling it in. And the fine tip of Stella makes that so easy to do. So that's one of the things that I want to do on this card, to keep tying it all in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tassel, this is from our Artisans kit, and I'm just going to brush the Stella over the edges of it and trying to get between it. I'm going to flip it over just to make sure that I kind of get all of the sides. And I'm only doing the bottom half of it just to make it a little bit gold. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to mush it between this cardstock just to help it dry. Normally I would have done that ahead of time, but I wanted the whole card kind of done and ready to go. And you can always add a little bit more. You can start dark and go soft. You can start dark and go soft. But then I've got that little extra gold on the tassel as well too. So using your wing to color tassels and coloring in that and then spritzing it. So let's look at a couple more items and options here for you. So this is another card that I'm working on. I went ahead and used our medallions. And again, the whole background is spritzed and sparkly. I don't know if you can see it. Again, it's with the gold directly in the tube. So let's do a few more for you and let's have a little bit of fun. One of the things that I've learned is just to play. Play is such an important part of our time, and so many times we worry about either ruining it or we want the original or the first out of the gate sample to be perfect, and it's just not how it's going to be. Let me back up for just a second. So the first one with alcohol didn't work. The second one with just water didn't work. The third one that was straight wink worked great. So somewhere here, there we have them. The spritzers are sold 2 to a pack. And let's just go ahead and we're going to get a fresh one out. And if you're worried about them clogging, the glitter clogging them after you've used up the little bit that you've put in the bottom, go ahead and rinse it really good, then fill it with water and pump water a few times through this to make sure that you've cleared the nozzle so that none of the glimmery parts of that wink of Stella is going to go ahead and ruin your filter, okay, or ruin your nozzle. So we're going to take this. I'm looking for one that is, let me find one here for just a second. There we go. And we'll take it all apart. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to put some of the, is it going to come out for me? Okay. Where's the one that we were working with earlier that was already a whole bunch of stuff going? Let's see if we can get this going. Should have had it already prior to. Okay. It's not going the way I want it to go. Of course, because we're on live feed and everybody's watching, right? Let's just do it this way. There we go. That works better for some reason. Okay, so I've put about a ½ inch in the bottom. I'll put my spritzer back in. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just give it a couple spritzes just to make sure it's coming up the straw. I don't know what you call it. I call it a straw. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so I've got a little bit coming out now. So let's kind of clear off our space. Anything that you don't want to get spritzed, make sure is not in the area. If you're a demonstrator watching this and you're doing this in class, you may want to have a box or something. There's nothing worse than having a customer ruin the person's next to theirs. So that can be a little frustrating. So what I have here is I've die cut the word congrats. I die cut it from the middle of a sheet that is the same size as the one underneath, because the only place I want spritzing is on those words congrats. And I'm just using it as a stencil. And I'm just going to kind of go in and fill it in. And it's not going to be complete, but the image of the word is going to be there. And it'll take a few minutes to dry, and then I'll post it back for you. You can do the same thing. I'm wanting to create just some pretty leaves on the background, and then I'll put the real size flower on the front. So you can go ahead and use that glimmer for pretty backgrounds and things like that. I'm going to hold it up for just a second. You do need a few minutes to let it dry. If you're in a hurry, you can also pat it. I need to back up for a second. I'm too close to it. But you're kind of getting the idea with the flowers. Let's take this one here for a second. And let's try this one. There we go. And let's see if I can get it going better. Oh, hold on. I see part of the problem. Let's go ahead and do this again. But using it as a stencil right on your cardstock, and you're going to get really, really pretty looks to it. The glimmer on the dark is just so, so pretty. So let's go ahead and try this again. And don't forget, I'll be posting the samples here on the page. I'll be coming back and I'll be answering. Oops, good, Janet. Pay attention to what you're aiming for. And I'll be coming back and answering your questions. And I'll be posting the finished samples for you guys as well, too. So, okay. I need to get a different one that's full. Hold on a second. Grab my gold one. Well, we can mix and match. There we go. Oh, for some reason that one's working good. It's not going to be the same. It won't show up as good. But you can see where it's going to start to get messy, but art is messy, and it's kind of fun when it's messy. And I have an old rag here. And you can see where you're starting to get that outline. It would be much prettier if the clear had been working, but go ahead and create your stencils and have a little bit of fun working with your Wink of Stella, squeezing it into your spritzers and having it then be all shimmery and shiny on your cardstock. It's going to look much nicer against your dark cardstocks, your espressos, your blacks, your navies, your olives. So your deep colors are going to look really good against the contrast when you're working with them as stencils. And one other way to do stencils, while I have just some bonus things for you, is, of course, you can die cut from your cardstock. I like to use our heavyweight white cardstock when making paper stencils. You can also use the framelit itself, because nothing stains these. You just wipe them clean. You can lay that down and spritz over top of it. In that case, I would stand real far back and not touch it or move it. You don't want to, have it sliding. And you can also do the other thing. You can lay your cardstock down, put just one tiny little glue dot there to hold it in place, and then spritz it. And again, you're not going for that exact outline, okay? You're going for that artsy effect, so that now you can come back in and add the real piece, and you've got that little bit of glimmer shape behind it, almost like a little glimmery shadow, if you will. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got that glimmery shadow. You could even offset it a little bit more. So lots and lots of fun possibilities for you, just to recap for you. You can go ahead and you can squeeze your Wink of Stella out, preferably onto a clear block or a plastic lid so it's not absorbed, and paint with it, and you're going to get a much thicker, glimmery look. You're also able to paint watercolor using the Wink of Stella brush as a paintbrush right to the tips of your watercolor pencils, and you're going to pick up glimmery color, so that's really, really fun to do. You're going to be able to add your Wink of Stella direct to one of our spritzers, and you're going to be able to spritz sample stencils. You're going to be able to spritz pretty glimmery ones. And again, direct. I tried water and I tried alcohol, and I was unhappy with the effect. Now, you may find that maybe it was the 91% alcohol that was the issue, and so just go ahead and let me know. And just that other bonus tip that I shared with you, of course, you can use it for dyeing the ends of your tassels, and you can also use it for filling in the words on your reverse ones. So real simple, real quick, lots of fun, great ideas for you in just a very, very rapid fire succession. Thank you guys so much. I'm anxious to get back and answer all of your questions and then to randomly select some winners. I have a whole bucket of Wink of Stella here that I'm looking forward to giving out to attendees on our Facebook Live video today, as well as those of you that are stopping by the rest of the evening to check out the completed samples and the rest of the fun that I have the rest of the night. So don't forget, celebration is in full swing and it goes till March 31st. You get a free stamp set with every $50 in purchase. My two favorites right now are Delicate Details and Make a Medallion. I am absolutely loving these two. But of course, there's lots of other great choices. My other, obviously can't live without, you guys participated in my week of glimmer, was our glimmer paper stack. So lots and lots of great choices for you. So I look forward to sharing some more with you guys. And thank you so much for giving me a bit of your day. Take care and God bless.